No, in my life, I might be live. Right, so we are back again to drawing Undertaker because I'm supposed to finish this by literally today. I should have been done with this artwork, but here I am, color coding certain parts of the sketches. So this is what I'm going to be doing for this stream, and I will finish this on stream. And since this is Saturday, this will be an especially long stream, hopefully, because truth be told, my head is kind of floating between being fine and hurting like crazy. Like, I don't know what's with the headache. I've had it since last night, and I still have it today. Did take some paracetamol, but I don't know how long that would last before I before the headache is back again, basically. But let me just switch the lighting in my workstation first, so I'm gonna have to put people on AFK immediately. Hold on. So I've switched the lighting for some, nice cozy lighting, but also I believe that in this stream I would not be talking as much, just because I want to actually get some work done. Like, it's nice to be able to kind of explain what I'm doing while I draw, but perhaps I shouldn't do that while I'm trying to complete commission sample, not like regular artwork. So I'll try to speak as few words as possible. But for now, my process would involve me doing a lot of basic, very light outlines, because I have restarted again. I have restarted this artwork for maybe 4 or 5 times now, and most of them is due to basically what I've been saying for my my previous streams last week, and what I said in those streams were me constantly struggling between accuracy with the reference versus the accuracy with the human anatomy. So I'm trying to avoid that struggle again by also not rushing straight to the coloring or the rendering process, because that's also what I did previously for like the past 4 tries. So I'm gonna be a bit more patient for this hopefully final attempt and not fuck it up again, hopefully. And yeah, in return, apology if I'm speaking way too slow than I already do usually. To be honest, I said I could also let go of the constant need to be grammatically correct, but at the same time I don't want it to become a habit, just say incorrect sentences, use the wrong words, mispronouncing it. But I also don't want to stress myself too much. This is an art stream after all, not a perfect English grammar stream. Oh yeah, I also want to just do a quick sound check and make sure that my audio is not fucked. Great, it's doing fine, so continue. There is also an idea that's been floating in my mind, unrelated to art, but I feel like I probably should get this out of the way like just to put this on the record, that I have been wanting to do basically a video just talking about games that I enjoy, like enjoy or just eager to play, but I still haven't played. But sorry, let me just form this thought clearly so it can be quick, instead of dragging like a sentence for over the span of like 10 minutes. So what I'm trying to say is that I wanted to make a video talking about games that I like a few months ago, but to this day I still have not recorded anything yet. But that's mainly because of the fact that the topics were made on a whim. Like it was decided on a whim. Like it's not something that's been brewing for a long time, not really. But I wonder if I should just discuss it on stream, like just put out my opinion on the stream instead of delaying it any further, just so just to try and release my commentary on a time-lapse video. And mind you, it's not that related to the games themselves anyway. It's one of them is more so on the player feedback and the player behavior, and the other one is on the lore of the game. So it's not exactly 100% about the games, at least not the first game. And honestly, it would be a pretty let's say negative video, because I'm going to talk about like the annoying little incels in the gaming community. Like I found out, unfortunately, that there's a whole community on stream that's quote unquote responsible for checking whether or not a game is woke, which is very weird for me, because they basically just judge a game is woke or not through usually just less than an hour of gameplay, or straight up just look at the trailer and then be like, oh, it's too woke, nah, and then they make their verdict on their Steam community feed or whatever garbage bin they threw their opinion into. Yeah, most of the videos would be talking about this kind of like behavior, basically this kind of mindset and behavior, talking about wokeness, when Monster Hunter has been woke for like years now, by their own standards, right? By their own logic, the game has been woke for at least like what, over a decade, 15 years. And as much as they want to claim that women run on emotions and no logics, I've mostly seen a lot of these incels outright creating lies and misinformation, and straight up sounding like they are very emotional and overreacting just for the sake of overreacting. Like, how could you make a Steam post complaining that the game is woke because one of the NPC is supposedly equipped with a a square face, even though it is as oval as an oval face could oval, right? Like they outright said that, oh, I only see her face from the trailer and I already hate it and the game is already work, and I'm like, so you saw a returning NPC from one source, right, from the trailer, and you made a wrong judgment. Like you say, the person claimed that, most likely a guy claimed that Gemma's face is rectangular, even though it's not. Now, unless I'm blind and I cannot differentiate between oval and square, I'm pretty sure the guy is just reacting out of emotions. But I guess when an incel wants to claim that every woman is emotional, we just have to agree. But the video that I was planning would be mostly about this kind of very reactionary emotional opinion, so I'm not sure if it's truly a good idea. Like, the only justification I could find when talking about very toxic mindset of these players would be if I'm making like a horror artwork, so the vibe would be a lot more fitting, because ain't no way I'm going to make like a wholesome or like dreamy artwork, but then I'm talking about this incels. Yeah, who knows? I honestly also want to talk about like unrelated to incels, but it's still player feedback, still player behavior, and it's about like the complaints related to the minimum requirements, not the performance in general, because with the optimization or lack thereof, I fully agree. Like, the game is dog shit. It looks grainy, looks washed. That you have to actually sit in the settings to tweak it first before you actually jump into the gameplay. I mean, it's what I do anyway when I play games, right? I usually jump straight into the settings, but if the settings that you have to tweak is the fact that it's done to make the game look less awful and unoptimized, I think there's something wrong with your game. But what do I know? And it's also really some of the remaining feedback is that of the what is it again? Oh, the difficulty of the game. So with the inclusion of focus mode, there have been people claiming that the game is very easy, like it's been dumbed down for new people. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the same could be said about Monster Hunter World, since Monster Hunter World had a feature that apparently is not present in older games, and that's the the slinger hook. But the game is far from easy, to be honest, especially if you're not min-maxing the equipment yet. If you're saying it's easy and you are decked out in full fatalist gear, you should stay out of the discussion. But my point is that my personal belief is that the game won't be easy in a few more updates, just due to the fact that there's basically a very drastic ramp in difficulty between the base game in Monster Hunter World and the DLC, the Iceborne DLC / expansion. Like there are bosses that are not fatalists that, my god, maybe it took a few years of my life to trying to fight it. And mind you, I still wasn't fighting by myself. I haven't tried soloing. It's mostly just trio, I believe. Yeah, either duo or trio. And even then, there was like a massive struggle. And I do wonder what the final boss would be, if they actually plan to release like an expansion for Monster Hunter Wilds. Swear to god, if they bring back Fatalis again. Like that weirdo fucking long neck cunt. Such a bitch to fight. I think I'm just gonna be channeling my anger into Monster Hunter boss fights this evening. Because I know it's fitting for a final boss to have a very pretty much game or run ending moves across like all its different moves, but my god, the constant like one shot fireballs pissing me off every single time. I guess if there's any consolation, there are a few other bosses that are also a pain in the ass. I just said it, but I didn't mention what bosses they are. But from what I could remember, other than the, what is it called? Basically the subspecies of the base monsters, there's also like the arch-tempered version of elder dragons, and then there's also a few more elder dragons that are exclusive to kind of like a siege mode. Like you can only spend a certain amount of time to finish to fulfill a few mechanics, and then the game ends. So it's not always heal the elder dragon and then carve its body parts. Sometimes it's like, oh, just break the body parts and then survive the fights, and you'll get your rewards that way. But they cannot be underestimated as well, even if they're not fatalists. And knowing how, how a lot of the monsters are, at least I have an inkling of how the monsters are throughout the different Monster Hunter games. I have a feeling that there will be a few pain in the ass bosses in Wilds. It's not gonna be, oh, there's one difficult bosses and then every other monster is easy to fight. I highly doubt it. There has to be a few hard to fight bitches. If they don't exist, if they don't get included, that's not Monster Hunter. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, so it's kind of like a variety of topics involving Monster Hunter Wilds that I was planning to discuss, but it's kind of like a roller coaster of emotions. calling out behaviors of people who refuse to believe that they are, wrong in any capacity, or even not even admit, right? Just realize they're wrong. I believe that's a bit futile. If anything, they're gonna throw it back to our faces and just keep perpetuating you quote unquote females are very emotional, and you see the kind of people that say that, and you can immediately parse the fact that they are very emotional themselves. It's like they are trying to convince themselves that they are not emotional. Yeah, that's generally how it comes across. If a guy is so secure with himself, with his own emotions, with his own feelings, why do you feel the need to constantly repeat that? Oh, you women are emotional. So yeah, I feel like a lot of them are full of shit. So claiming the gaming industry have been invaded by DEI just from the inclusion of female characters, while not caring about whether the story writing or the character writing is good or not, or outright complaining that I'm not a woman, I'm not a girl, I can't relate, so stop forcing me to play a game with female characters. I'm like, I grew up playing a lot of games with male characters, right? Even Metal Gear Solid 3, we play as Solid Snake, and I have never complained, because I feel like a lot of experiences when it came to like a lot of these main characters in video games, I think a lot of them could be relatable without having to also having the need for us to check whether or not they share the same genitals as us. I don't know. I feel like a lot of characters, whether they're male or female, could be very relatable for me, which is why I've never complained. So to see like a bunch of dudes whining like little bitches is very it's just sad to see. It's very sad, because they claim women complain a lot, but then all I see are men complaining, and them complaining that women complain a lot. So it's like, by that logic, you're a woman yourself then. Also, during one of my streams with my friend the other day, on Wednesday I believe, the one where it went very wrong throughout the entire stream, like I was basically discussing the reality of being a Chinese woman in a more traditional, I call it backwards, but quote-unquote traditional mindset, traditional society. Is that where it's the kind of society where women are actually treated as second-class citizens. So to see this kind of men children act like, oh, see, women live easy life, when these women, since they were young, were suffering a lot, quite a good amount of like murder attempts. It's just fucking so ignorant, loud and wrong. Even through that stream, right? I'm not interested in making kind of like a gotcha argument. Like I'm not being like, ha, you're wrong, I'm right, but more so of the explaining that that's the reality. I don't know. I'm supposed to be streaming for art, but I feel like helping lessen misinformation is also pretty important to me now, I guess. Whether it's in just in gaming, in real life. But there's also a limit to how much I wanna, keep discussing this kind of topic, because truth be told, a lot of people, whether men or women, right, in real life, not many of them are like this, are like the ones on the internet. The internet will always display only the most extreme of behaviors to kind of incite a reaction, start this quote-unquote war, when in reality a lot of people live a lot of their lives kind of like in a non-stop, in a one-way motion, like they don't get stuck in the past, constantly reliving, replaying the awful shit that happened to them the way that people on the internet do. If someone wrongs them, I don't know, pick a fight on the side of the street or something, settle it that way, and then never see each other again. But with the internet, just constant controversy and another controversy, and just, oh my god, non-stop controversy. Are you guys not tired? I am. But I do notice, right? Sorry, just out of nowhere, I do notice that there's a correlation between in this kind of like women-hating guys and AI bros. I've noticed that like they like to do very generalizing statement about women, but also love to spread misinformation about AI, and the constant overestimate and underestimate of AI. I feel like there's a correlation there, because I saw some of the quote-unquote alpha males also love generative AI. Very interesting phenomenon. There's also I guess quote-unquote less important topic than what's going on with some countries right now. But I don't know. I feel like I'm more than capable of, putting my focus than just one important topic, or just one topic in general. But then again, when I think about it, the topic is like three weeks old at least. It's about the thread post from Dochi about cats. It's really funny because homegirl definitely was not joking when she made her initial post, but because she received like over 10,000 comments of people disagreeing, she started replying to people with like, "Oh my god, it's just a joke. Don't tell me y'all are this serious." But her initial reply to people's comments debunking her claims are just her telling people to stop lying. "I know I'm right, blah blah blah." Like, it doesn't sound like a joke. It sounds like someone had a disagreement in real life and they ran to the internet to look for validation just to receive more pushback. Now she has to claim that it was just a joke all along. And the people downplaying some people's frustration is to be expected. That's normal. Like claiming that it's just an opinion. But I don't know, having pretty harmful opinion about cats and then trying to fight people over it and then claiming it's a joke when you're losing it doesn't sound like, joking, being funny to me. It's not just opinion. That's not the only argument they were using. There was also another one where they say that the people who like cats are being over dramatic because they are equating cats to consent, to trigger warning, to rape. And it's like adding also that, her having an opinion of her not liking cats is not going to suddenly increase the chance of violence against cats. But that's not a very fair comparison or a very fair assessment of people's opinions, because no shit, just because she said that doesn't mean that people are just gonna start looking for cats to kill, right? The point is that her having that kind of opinion, especially since she's a celebrity, she has a lot of supporters, people will feel emboldened to also wish that cats, disappear or die, which there are already several posts that were writing off of her quote-unquote joke. There was one that was like, if they could eradicate cats, they would so fast. But then when people say that, okay, so you're feeling brave now, blah blah blah, and then she replies, sorry, but I'm pretty sure I have phobias, blah blah blah. It's like, girly, you were talking about wanting to Thanos snap the whole ass animal species. I don't know why the fuck you lying now. Phobias. It's like, like I said, it's the same energy with Dochi, right? The point is not that you're not allowed to dislike cats. The problem is when you try to use your opinions and present it as fact because you were expecting people to agree with you, and then when you didn't get the agreement, you didn't get the support that you want, suddenly it's a joke. Suddenly you have a legitimate medical reason, quote-unquote phobia, to dislike cats. It's fine to be allergic, of course, but wanting to eradicate a whole species because you think you have phobia is not mentally well behavior. Let's just say, let me be honest. Insane behavior to display. There's also a very extreme comparison that people have made for cats, but they unfortunately have to, you know, compare it to racial prejudice. I mean, I get their point, but I don't know. I get their intention, like they were trying to prove a point that, oh, look, if I do the same thing but to a certain race of people, you wouldn't like it too. I get their point, but I guess it's just very harsh of a comparison. And of course, again, people who wanted to defend Doji just straight up go, they went, oh, so we are comparing animals to people now, because Doji said that she doesn't like cat. It's like, there's no such thing as nuance with these people. It's either one or the other. It's very weird. Yeah, even Doji's opinion was like very black and white, very one-sided, like, oh, I'm right, don't even fight me. Like she basically replied quite a few times using that kind of like language, I guess, like, oh, don't even fight me about it, I know I'm right. And the main post she had was basically just claiming that it's not organic, like cats are not organic pets, and it's she claimed that it will take years to get a cat to even like you, like as if it's not worth the effort, blah blah blah, even though that's truthfully not the case. And again, claiming that it's a joke because you didn't get the reaction that you want is not the way to go. But you know what I know? I'm not a celebrity. I'm just a unknown person yapping on YouTube platform. And also interestingly, throughout that whole little controversy with cats, there is again someone spreading outright lies about cats as well, and toxoplasmosis. Like, again, you can also get it from like uncooked meat, from unwashed vegetables, so I don't know why the fuck people keep claiming every cat owner has it, as if we all just, you know, grab a handful of our cat's shit and just shove it into our mouth. Like, chill, you guys, chill. Stupid people are stupid. No need to involve cat's shit for that. And this kind of like fear mongering or like overgeneralization is always a display of like stupidity, in my opinion. And also, I'm not interested in dragging like other animals into this, because my criticism when it comes to opinions like this has always been the ignorance, the confidence in being wrong. Like I'm sure I'm wrong about something, right? I'm wrong about animals, wrong about anything that I've talked about, but I'm not gonna act like, oh, I'm right, don't fight me on this, and then later walk it back and claim that, oh my god, it's just a joke. Can you all relax? Oh my god, there's war right now, but all you care about are some women's opinions about cats. You know, we can focus on more than one thing, right? But yeah, that's all I can deal with when it comes to Dochi and her misinformed opinion. Now I'm gonna go back to focusing on my art. This is also what I despise when it comes to streaming, is that I'm gonna yap about a lot of things that I've seen or heard or read, and usually again, like, displays of extremities on the internet are what's gonna get discussed, and I hate for contributing to that. But then if I don't talk about it, I feel like I'm just bottling a lot of my opinions up. So I feel like I need to let it all out. But if people are tuning into art streams for the art, me adding to that already chaotic state of affairs by also adding my opinions into these topics is also gonna just cause people to kind of click away, I guess. Like, people be like, ugh, this person constantly talks about negative stuff. I want my peace and quiet. I want to, relax a little. I do wonder if it's much more digestible. Yeah, I wonder if it's more digestible to just present these topics more of kind of like news, I guess. It's like I'm working as a human headline generator, but I'm not gonna give much of my opinions. Man, I'm only halfway through the outlines and I can feel my headache coming back. I'm not even angry. I was I guess trying too hard to focus on the things that I wanted to say, that I'm actually starting to hurt my brain. The headache. Now I'm trying to decide whether I should do any outlines at all for the hair. I guess it's fine to just do a messy, kind of like sketch-like lines. Then later I can just change the colors of these outlines, because I still want to have that natural kind of mix of like stylized but also realistic rendering for hair. I'm gonna have to pull up the AFK icon again, because truth be told, I'm also streaming with like some background noise. I forgot what I wanted to say, but yeah, my thoughts have slipped out of my mind. Oh yeah, about my habits of having background noises. I have to go AFK for a bit and change the videos that I watch. I listen to, sorry. I don't even watch it. Hold on. Trying to find videos, and of course, like I said, there are videos that talk about what's going on in a lot of places, and they are about the US, the current war, American tourists, and then suddenly there's a video about a fairly large person crying. If I know who she is, I'll probably change what I say, what I call her, from large person to a fat whale. Usually in these kinds of videos, if they involve a large person, right, a fat person, they usually have a lot of nasty opinions. Let's say nasty opinions. So I don't feel inclined to be kind to this kind of people. But just give me a second. Sorry for the complete silence, but I'm also seeing kind of like quote-unquote controversy videos for certain musical artists, and I mean, it's truthfully speaking, they're kind of like a nothing burger, but people like to be outraged on the internet for the reasons that I have stated. People like to be extreme about a lot of things. So I am just trying to, I guess, find a less serious videos to use as background noise. I mean, I guess if I could not find any video, I can just use the background music that I am using myself to fill in the void. So I don't know if it's just me, but I think I really like character designs that include this kind of like thin braids on just certain parts of their hair, right? Not everywhere. Like, ooh, would it be dreads? No, sorry, that's that's very ignorant to say. I'm pretty sure dreads are still different, like they're a lot tighter braids. Yeah, if I further explain myself, I think I'm just gonna sound racist and ignorant. Right, so the direction of the braid is here. So another challenge that I've seen, for myself at least, right, is the fact that for some reason it's quite a challenge. I'm just gonna keep saying one word over and over again. I find it a bit difficult to draw actual natural looking teeth for some reason. Maybe there's too much details, right? Like there's too much lines. Also, pardon the random crackling sounds. That's my cat scratching our old soon to be thrown out sofa. Oh yeah, back to the teeth. Yeah, I don't know how else to kind of make it look more realistic other than later hiding the outlines after I started rendering. for now I can start with the base rendering first, since this is actually more than like enough details with the outlines. Even with my previous samples, the outlines started and stopped, you know, at the face. I started from the eyes and then stopped at the lips, and then I just started rendering it, basically raw dogging it. But with these ones, since I've been failing quite a lot, I figured that it's best if I actually have oops, wrong brush. I figure it's best if I actually have a what's it called, a proper outline, let's say. This the base color is the only time I can even remotely use airbrush. Any other time I use airbrush, for some reason it feels too smooth, suspiciously smooth. To be fair, that's how I used to render, right, when I first started art. I don't know what's wrong with me back in the day, but it seems like this is the only way that I would ever do shading, do lighting, just with like the airbrush. But now, for now, I mostly just I'm trying to lay down a bunch of like these soft colors that will be either blended or overwritten by other colors. So let's just say that this is more of a like ambient I don't know if it makes sense, but kind of like ambient colors. Like, the point is just to add some variety to the skin, so his skin color doesn't look too monotonous. Man, I still remember looking through some of my older artwork, my old art projects, and just saw the most basic low effort shading. just one base color, and then the other one is just the grayish muddy shading, and even then the shadow direction doesn't really make any sense. I still struggle with this from time to time, but my god, back in the day I was for some reason very obsessed with drawing without like a reference, drawing without any consideration for accuracy. I just draw. Also, the direction of the irises seems to be a bit off to the side. Like, he's supposed to be looking straight ahead, and my cat is yowling at the back. I don't know what the hell is wrong with him. Yeah, airbrush is a lot of fun, but I can't often. I can't be using it too often. And now if I add too dark of a color, it will look jarring. But then if I add the color in between, the color to be less harsh, then I would have to put in another put in more effort, so like I'll be, you know, giving myself twice the work. I think it's really cool when you see like very professional, experienced artists being able to make this like quick judgment and just make like this seemingly very kind of like split-second decision, just to later see that, oh, it works out well. It didn't require them to revise too much. I think it's also just the fact that the outlines are in very dark gray colors, so they also look a bit off. Also, hold on a second. Alright, just making sure I can keep up with my own streams, because I try to stream on Twitch as well, but I see like the final section scheduling, like the cat. Why can I say the word? Category. Yeah, sorry, my brain's hurting. Category, and I'm immediately just gets hit with a wave of laziness. I have to remember to even out the rendering, the shading and everything, so it doesn't look too jarring for my eyes. It's very difficult for me to make decisions if there's too big of discrepancy between several body parts. Like, I hate the rendering process when I'm too focused on only one part of the body. Like my bad habit since I was young has always been zooming in way too close and then focusing way too long on that one extremely zoom in part. And then when I zoom out and then I repeat it again with other parts of the body, it will look like slightly different art styles, because I didn't put in the same steps in between those different parts of the artwork. And I guess it doesn't help when I'm so trigger happy with Control A delete. So I have to be more patient, be more careful, and not be a zoom in nut. Zoom nutter. Like, not obsessed with zooming in, basically. Oops. Uh-oh. I have been bitten by a mosquito. Being terrorized again, as usual. As I always do. I think it's that. Hold on. I actually killed it, but my feet is now itchy. I hate that feeling when you're too hyper focused on something so you didn't feel the itchiness at all, but then when you break your focus and whether or not you successfully catch the mosquito, you suddenly get hit by several waves of like itchiness. It starts to itch all over, especially if the mosquitoes have been biting you for a while and you just never pay attention. Oops. I did apply some ointment, so hopefully I'm not too distracted. The headache is also a bitch to deal with. Oh yeah, did I? Oh, I did. I was afraid that I didn't take off the AFK icon again. So I do want to also discuss some topic relating to certain artists that have been caught using AI or quote-unquote assisted by AI. Look at me, about to laugh at someone else before realizing I have been fucking myself over. Yep. Right, so again about the quote-unquote artist. I'm gonna preface this, right? So I'm talking about this because of like YouTubers like Mujin talking about them, but I do wonder why a lot of these artists are very, I don't know, reckless, impatient, stupid. Because if you are already an artist, right, if you already possess the skills to do the basics, like being able to draw the basics, like the fundamentals of art, so why is it that you cannot apply said basics into the AI assisted artwork? Like, why are they all so impatient, like so eager to scam people out of money, that they could not bother to use that AI reference, quote-unquote reference, to actually see if there's anything they can fix, you know, if they can actually make it look more like their own artwork, and their obvious, like blatantly fake attempt at making their AI art look authentic. Like, if you look at any time lapse these artists provide, they always look like they're very streamlined. Is that the word? Like, they're very quick with it, like something that only 30-year plus experienced artists can only achieve. And mind you, these artists usually don't really erase the trace of their old art, so you can see the difference. You can see the differences between the pre-AI art and the post-AI art. You can usually go through their timelines, is what I'm saying, and you can see like the differences. If you're gonna use AI in your art, right, and earn money from it, how hard is it for you to actually, again, do some quality assurance, right? The thing with AI and generative AI is that they could never do perfect image generation. Like, there's always some AI artifact, like AI mistakes. So you, as someone who supposedly is an artist with a lot of skills, right, or at least basic skills, right, I don't know why a lot of them cannot fix it. Like, some of the artists that were already exposed through other artists and have been, I guess, documented by Mujin, like, they're all so eager to scam, so eager to open like their $200 commissions. Like, I don't know. Is it that hard for you to fix it? That's why I don't believe AI bros when they say that they use AI as tools, because again, there's no quality control, there's no fixing, there's no making sure that the AI generated item actually looks good. These people claim that they are hand-drawn, but what they meant was actually that they were hand-traced. And you can see it from their time-lapse. There's no fixes, there's no adjustment, like no scaling, rotating, erasing, and then redrawing. I don't know what's wrong with these people. And it's not like their pre-AI art was ugly. Like, it's not ugly. Like, some of them already knew basic anatomy. Maybe their rendering, like mine, could still use a bit more work to actually look professional, but zero effort put into that, more effort put into pretending that your art has actually improved. All the effort was put into that instead of actually improving, which is comical, to be honest. Oh, and it is also interesting revelation about one of the apparently pretty well-known Japanese artists that was also mentioned by Musin, right? Apparently his works were all actually traced by using photographs. His entire career, basically. That's honestly insane. But then again, if someone has built their whole brand, whole reputation by being someone that impressive, they will have to keep maintaining it by doing the same thing. And in this case, they're gonna have to keep tracing real photographs and pretend they came up with it with their mind. I think one thing that that would save me from like tracing or AI accusations is that you can obviously see the discrepancy, like on any artwork I do anyway, especially the fan art, kind of like this Undertaker one, that you would have always noticed the difference between the reference image and the actual image, and the actual artwork that I'm working on right now. There will always be a discrepancy. Same with like using real references, real examples of like whether photographs or just 3D models. The actual references and what I end up drawing will always look different. So I don't really have that kind of fear of being accused. Now, as much as I like to kind of harp on certain topics, like there's a point of me of me harping it constantly. And I'm sure some people would disagree, but at least I make it sure that that's just how I am. And I also want to avoid being fake positive or like fake supportive. If people have like different opinions with like how we should do art, how we should improve, blah blah blah, but one thing that confuses me right to this day still is about using reference layer in Clip Studio Paint, because I've seen it as a trend with a lot of these AI artists, these AI scammers. Let's just call it what it is. A lot of them are scammers, and I've seen it a lot with them, right? And apparently they use Procreate's reference feature to hide the AI image underneath their actual art layer. And apparently it's also featured in Clip Studio Paint. But to this day I still don't know what the hell is the setting to kind of do that, to do the same thing as Procreate does. Now I don't know if it's just with the press of the reference layer button, because with me personally I have like this small floating window that's called subview, and it's specifically for reference images, but it's kind of like a small window small pop-up window to the side. I should probably try recording my entire tablet display instead of just a Clip Studio Paint window, so you know what I'm talking about. But I still cannot wrap my head around the hidden reference layer thing. I think I'm getting older. I am also starting to embody the boomer energy. I don't know how the hell these people are doing all sorts of tricks. The most amusing one with this kind of AI scammers was the one where they record a time lapse with the AI image being masked with like singular color, like one solid color. So the one they did was basically masking it into like a one singular green color, and then on an editing software they mask, like they basically mask out the color green, so the AI image doesn't come up inside time lapse, in the quote-unquote time lapse. And the people finding out that they did this kind of tricks found out due to the fact that the green hue was missing from the color wheel. And again, this is basically documented in entirety by Mujin, like the YouTuber Mujin. It's so weird. So much effort put into pretending, into faking. Why not just, you know, do kind of like one of those study the masters, where you do a session specifically to mimic all the pro artists' rendering technique and see what stick with you, see if their technique work for you, and then try to understand what could be learned from their technique. But I guess faking is also a method. I guess when people are blinded by the thought of earning money, all sorts of logic just get thrown out of the window. I don't think it's actually thrown out of the window either. I think it was tied, gagged, and then ran over several times. like they will run over the common sense, and then they'll reverse it and then run it over again and then step on the gas again. Like what things that people do just to earn money is insane. Right, so now after some progress through the base rendering, the skin rendering at least, I now understand what has bothered me for a while about his face. It's the kind of like triangular shape of his mouth that's been bothering me. So I guess I have to try and see Liquify can help me, or do I just erase and then redraw it manually? Like the dude has a creepy ass smile, but the artist also made him very attractive, so now I'm struggling because I can only do either or, like either he's creepy or he's good looking. I cannot do both. I don't know how the hell people, you know, achieve that with such perfection. Yeah, I get it now. I think I'm just gonna redraw it entirely. I get that. Again, my issue now is the fact that it looks a bit too pointy, let's just say. especially the sides of the lips. I also remember that I may or may not have fucked up the iris outlines. So I guess the safest would be doing a new outline altogether. Let me change it. Oops. Let me rename it to lips and irises. Now hopefully we can fix my mistake. Oops, double oops. I used the wrong thickness and drew it on the wrong layer. Typical. Also relating to AI, at least LLMs. I believe there was a piece of news where the brain dead CEO was like, we need to treat ChatGPT as kind of like, we need. What the fuck did he say? It's like it's really difficult to take what he said seriously. But essentially what he said was just, oh, we need to treat it as a utility, like the same way as water or electricity. If it's going to be treated as utility, I feel like there should be laws in place for us, and any and every operation involving OpenAI should be suspended first. Like the way they're moving is already very unethical, and now they're trying to act like their services are legitimate and ethical issues. Insane. I mean, the fact that we need to pay for water is already insane. And now this. I don't know. It doesn't make me like CEO more and more. That's all I'm gonna say when it comes to news about this kind of like quote-unquote AI. Like where's that stray video game, like human loving AI? I want that one, you know, the one where they mimic human behavior and personalities because they miss the humans. Where's that kind of AI? I want that AI, you know, not this constant yes man encouraging me to kill myself kind of AI. Even my friend Forrest, who said that she makes sure to pick angst, pick the mean personality, like the AI still ends up kissing her ass, like being a yes man. Like the point is that these kind of LLMs are programmed to be very agreeable with you, to make sure that you are hooked on using it constantly, valuing its opinions over humans. And the problem is, its opinions are just a bunch of predictions. It's not an actual opinion because he's not actually alive. And again, the CEO is so brain dead. It's very difficult to take any hype from him seriously. How the hell are you an American CEO but you speak the same way that I speak? filled with difficulties. Like I would expect an American to be speaking with like proper grammar, but he was just failing to even form a cohesive thought with a coherent sentence. And you expect me to believe that you're innovating? Give me a break. And there's still also the whistleblower case. Now, it's not just whistleblowing. The boy passed, you know. And the mother of the boy is... last I checked that she was actively trying to fight OpenAI, but I don't know what happened to her. I do find it, I don't know, a bit concerning that I told the whistleblower situation to my friend, and she's just like, oh. And I'm like, someone died because they call out what OpenAI was doing, and people were suspicious that the whistleblower died because, you know, that's the move that OpenAI. My sentence structure is a bit of a mess, but it kind of opened the gateway for OpenAI to be sued, which, you know, make sense if a company wants to make sure it doesn't happen. But I don't know, killing... It's extreme. It's very extreme. That's my point. Which is why I'm very hesitant with using ChatGPT, and then seeing that my friend's reaction is just yeah, or just oh, and then knowing that she's just gonna keep using the LLMs. I don't know, concerning. Would it be better if I just forego any detail, at least any more details of the teeth? Fill in the mouth later and see if it looks better. Wrong layer again. as usual. See, so with the eyes, another problem that I have is that I'm trying to make him look straight ahead, but the straight ahead is at us, looking straight at us. But my dumbass keep doubting myself and constantly moving the irises, so it looks like he's looking everywhere but us. Hopefully I'm successful in making this look like he is looking at us. Hopefully. Now I'm gonna move on to the mouth, because I still want to make sure that I have fixed the issue. Oops. So another criticism that my friend have for me is coupled with like the over zooming is also the too much details on areas that would not matter for the bigger picture, aka when zooming out. She's gonna be disappointed when she's see this. But hopefully it's just like this proper feeling, precise feeling, sorry, and this precise art strokes instead of over detailing, because it also takes away time that could have been spent doing anything else. So this is how the mouth would look like, sorry. Once I have forgotten to add an S at the end of the word, I will keep forgetting, and then the other time when I remember to add the S's, I will keep adding S into every word that I utter. This also don't need to have too clear of kind of like what is it called? No need for him to have too detail of his shading for his mouth, because that's not the main focus. I guess most of the focus should be and would be on his eyes. So later I should be fixing the colors a little, like making it look a lot less vibrant. Okay, so I should probably render the eyes like this and not zooming in too close. I guess the only justification I have for zooming in too close is just the fact that I cannot be precise if I am zoomed up like this. Like, that's the only excuse I have. And even then, you don't really need to be precise. Like, I'm getting rid of all the possible excuses I could use to defend myself. But that's just how it is. For the irises, I can delete this one. Oh yeah, to cover my asses for some of the things I've said earlier, especially regarding OpenAI, it is alleged. You cannot accuse me of spreading misinformation because it is alleged. Also because, so I don't get accused of, you know, spreading misinformation about the whistleblower. But just know that I am not slandering when I say that Sam Altman is brain dead. I just hate the guy, so that's just an opinion. Despise him. Got nothing to do with misinformation or slander. Fucking hate that guy. Anyway, back to the eyes. Back to the eyes. Should I? Yeah, I think I should not do too much layering for the eyes for now. Because again, if I over-render, if I over-render on certain parts of his body, it would be difficult later on to try to match it. So if I'm gonna do like 2 layers of rendering on his eyes, I should do that on his clothes, on his hair, lips, just so I can avoid overdoing for one part and then underdoing for another part. So I'm gonna render the lips and add some base color while I try to take a sip of water. So hopefully I don't spill all over my keyboard. That is sufficient for the current step, because again I do not want to overdo it. I still think that his lips are too triangular. Oops. I think that's sufficient for the lips. Maybe I should darken this part of the whatever it's called. Sorry, I never use the term for like the parts just outside of the lips. So I'm just gonna keep saying this or that part for now. Should probably move on to his hair. I think I should still add this, at the very least, add the base color for his earrings, because I know that the one on the reference image on like the manga panel, it's basically incomplete. Let's just say he has several like earrings and piercings, more than one, but it's not visible in the panel. But because I want to highlight it as well, I'm gonna add every single earring and piercing that he has, and everybody has to deal with that. A bit unrelated to Undertaker, I don't know if anybody else has also started getting content, loads and loads of content involving Leon for Resident Evil Requiem. Like I get it if I keep getting the content from, you know, all sorts of artists on Instagram, but the fact that I also started getting content of Leon on YouTube, the YouTube shorts especially, I don't know what the hell is happening and why I'm starting to get a lot of content involving him, even though I didn't look up any like memes or fan art or whatever it is of Leon, but now I just keep getting shorts involving him and his voice actor. Nothing against the voice actor, but not. Yeah. Let's just say that I do not simp for Leon, despite simping for a lot of 3D men. I guess neither Leon nor Chris has ever been in my list of men to simp for. But for Leon specifically is mainly because I do not appreciate characters that are constantly used as like another character's sim, aka plot device. Like that's just not something that I'm a fan of, because that makes the character too one-dimensional. Like I get they try to make Leon as someone who was very kind and naive, but to make him still, I don't know, blindly believing Ada, but also jaded on every other part. It's just not that great of a, character writing. But that's just me. Maybe someone would tell me that, oh, by the time that RE4 kicks off, he's actually a lot less simpy with his behavior. But I'm pretty sure in RE4 remake he still has that little bit of like naivety with Ada. Trying to find words to kind of like explain that my dislike for kind of like sim characters are usually connected to the characters that they sim. Like I believe there's a part of the lore in the game where they outright introduce kind of like a clone of Ada, which explain why she is acting extra bitchy towards Leon, and it's just very weird. Like even Ada's personality since like the early games is that she cares too much about post-apocalypse money, or at least that's the impression that I got. And her endangering Leon who knows how many times. So it's not just Leon that ends up feeling a bit one-dimensional, it's also Ada. Like, because both characters ends up being the cat and mouse plot device. Like one is constantly chasing, the other one is constantly running. And again, I may be wrong, but every time I hear about either like pre-Requiem Leon and Ada, it's always like a lot of simping behavior and a lot of like comical villain behavior. Can I copy and paste the earrings? I'll probably have to end up doing the mesh tool to kind of match it up. If it match up nicely, then I don't need to do it it's 10:28 p.m. and I am still far from finishing this. Hold on, let me take a look at the reference again. So the right ear is the one with whatever the piercing is called. I am too uneducated on this, but it's the one where there's like kind of this ball, metal ball with oh my god, the ball ends on both sides of the earring. So it would look like this. Then like the back of the ear would also be like very barely visible metal ball. I think this one is actually genuinely not visible. Like it would have to be way too bent for this part of the earring to fully be visible. Sorry, but I have barely seen this kind of like earring in real life. It's very hard for my brain to comprehend. So the earrings would look like this. Probably should fix this one, fix the width a little, because it looks too much like a pear-shaped earring instead of a round, regular round earring. So, as usual, wrong layer. So yeah, the reason why it doesn't look as circular is because I believe the curve here is a bit too close. Like the front part of the earring here and the back part. Like the fact that they were so close to each other make it look like a paper clip instead of like a round earring. It is sorry, the paper clip that I'm that I'm referencing is one of those, like the one with, what the hell is it called? Sorry, we're gonna have to AFK for me to look up the types of paper clips. It's a clipper, and it's an actual clipper. Hold on. Also because I just need to stretch a little, so binder or footbed clips. I don't think they are that difficult to find. At least the names shouldn't be that difficult. Where was the name? Footbed clips. Oh yeah, is it really just called binder clips? Yeah. I mean, it's a lot more triangular than it is oval or not tubular. I guess oval with or water drop shape. But I also have difficulty with doing 3-dimensional shapes too. The 3-dimensional shapes are specifically earrings. Even when I drew my own OC's accessories, I also get, you know, challenged that way, I suppose. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know, the analytics for my streams have been a lot less accurate lately. I don't know why. I don't know what the hell YouTube is doing. It's usually pretty accurate, but now it doesn't matter how many people have actually stopped by my streams. The average view duration and the concurrent viewers, even like the total, I believe the only the parts of the analytics that are still accurate is the views, but the concurrent viewers or the average view is a bit fucked right now. I don't know what's happening. I saw some people complaining about the latest algorithm changes, but I am not sure if it's related or not. Right, let's just focus on our earrings instead of algorithms. Oops, wrong layer again. Oh, I actually drew on the other wrong layer. Hold on a second. Gonna copy paste and then make sure I didn't fuck up the layer name as well. No, I didn't. This one is still the his left. Yep. I believe the two lower earrings are actually silver, or at least aluminum. I'm just gonna call it aluminum. I believe at least the two bottom ones are lighter in color. The references I'm using are my old pencil drawings, so there's only like light gray and dark gray, so I don't know the materials. Like, I don't know the precise materials used for his earrings, so I'm just gonna blindly guess. But I believe the darker ones, like the top two earrings, are supposed to be one of those titanium or what is it called again? I forgot. But it's black by default, or has like a black coating I'm gonna have to look it up again. Yeah, I mean the AFK icon is on anyway, so I might as well go on another Google journey. Yeah, hoop earrings. Stainless steel, I guess. Plated and there's acrylic, there's stainless steel. I remember there are platinum or at least titanium rings that are like that. Silver, sterling silver. Yeah, maybe I have to just to be safe, I have to look up all the different earring materials so I don't confuse myself and confuse everybody else that I'm trying to explain things to. Oh yeah, there are black titanium rings, but they are matte or flat in colors. Like there's barely any light reflection compared to silver or stainless steel or even acrylics. Yeah, so there are two different types as well. There's also another titanium earrings that are shiny, glossy, but I believe it's specifically what black PVD titanium. PVD is supposed to be physical vapor deposition. Yeah, so when it comes to drawing like metals or like fabrics or and whatnot, I usually end up going into this kind of like googling spree where I try to understand what the fuck I'm supposed to draw. Not always detailed too, by the way. Sometimes I just look up the surface levels, as in how the product of each material will look like with a strong light source versus more of a dim light source. But there are times where I would just sit through and read like articles or like blogs of different materials, different effects, different styling. I mean, it's fun to read through that kind of articles, but that's just me. I believe now that both of these accessory layers have to be above the hair layer as well. At least now you don't see the pesky thin gray line that run across the earrings. My God, it's the headache. I've hidden the color layer. I think I also understood why it finally clicked for me. But the jacket lines also does not help, but make him look like a gremlin instead of like a menacing character. I think that works. Should put it above every other outline layers, and for now I should do base colors for the hair. The headache comes and goes, and when it comes, it's very hard to even keep my eyes open. Should probably darken the background. Probably avoid airbrush for the hair. I think I can forego preciseness for now. Precision. Oops, I think I accidentally took a chunk of his hair when I was trying to rotate the braids before. You see? It's gross. I think this is gonna be the stream where I have to render with only one eye open due to the headache. Rendering with only one eye open and in complete silence because I cannot speak any longer. shouldn't stress the braids too much, because the lack of like light colors can be countered with the coloring of the outlines itself. I can just lighten the colors of the outlines there. The Undertaker's hair colors are also have that kind of very silver, actual silver like quality of color. So rendering his hair is equivalent to rendering the actual silver metal. Also a bit of kind of a light blue, grayish blue and light blue tint to his hair. My cat is doing his attention seeking meows. I'm supposed to accompany him for his meal time, but because I'm live right now, I cannot do that. And because he doesn't like that I'm live right now, he's gonna try to bother me by climbing onto my laptop that I'm using as a secondary screen. So I have to be quick with this. If I finish sooner, I can end the stream earlier. And also, I put less time stressing out about this art piece, because the thing with this kind of art commission sample is that this is just beyond me wanting to ensure that the sample itself looks nice, but it's more so that I want emphasis on my I guess my need to kind of take the reference images seriously. Like I could very well just post it the sample of using the other version of the quote-unquote fail version, right? But the thing is that I value like making the fan art actually reflects the vibe of the actual artwork, the real, what is it called, the actual comic panel, the manga panel. I'm just basically turning it into my style, but that's about it. I still wanted to actually feel like I guess the easier way to reword this is just to say that I want to invoke the same feeling as if you are actually reading through the chapters of this exact with this exact panel, that with this exact frame, you know. Hence why I keep wanting to restart. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to fix the lips again later, but for now I'm gonna keep focusing on the hair. I'm gonna pick the colors just a little bit darker but still lighter than the other color, because logically speaking it should be, this part will be blocked by his arm anyway, so yeah, I need to also bring his arm above his hair. Yeah, so I need to make sure that this part of the hair is darker. So this part will be replaced by a bit of a light blue highlight. And then the other color is block, darker blue. That's a bit too blue. The darkness is fine, but it's a bit too blue, too vibrant. I believe I can also edit it at a lot of the dark blue tint here, also here, since the arm is pressing on his bangs. Should lighten the colors again. I think my previous attempt for his hair is actually very silver-like, like genuinely look like he has silver for hair, and not just having, you know, silver color, but it's the metal quality. I think my cat has stopped his attention grabbing behavior. He's been stopping for a while, but you know, you can never feel too safe, because at any moment now he's gonna kick it up again, so I don't want to slack off. should also be careful so it doesn't look like he is having dim light source, because as far as I remember he's actually standing under a very brightly lit place, and I believe I've also mentioned this at least 3 times now. 3 different attempts, all while I'm live streaming. At this point, it is to be expected. I mean, hopefully I don't restart as many times again, because I do not like constantly restarting, but at the same time, all the failed attempts, or at least most of the failed attempts that I save, can actually help me understand what the fuck went wrong, you know? Why I end up constantly restarting. It actually helped me understand my mistakes. It's just most of the time I'm just a bit too impatient. So yeah, well, yeah, it's easy to just go, yeah, my mistakes was that I am impatient, but I meant as in parts of maybe the shading that didn't go well, the colors that I use maybe a bit too dull, too dark, the lighting direction is all over the place, that sort of thing. The easiest assessment was that I was impatient, but the serious one is usually more detailed than that. I guess I shouldn't be using this light of a color, because now the expectation is that any areas that can be highlighted should use that light of a color, even though his gray hair is not that light of a gray color. below or above the hair layer? I guess we can try below first. I'm gonna have to light on the background color again. So let's do yellow. So this is basically like what, beige? I guess beige color would be redder. Old people color. And that's the only thing I can think of. For the codes, I can. Oh no. Oh no, it's fine. I thought I drew straight on the outlines layer. I mean, it would have been fine if it's not, not that messy. I'm not really that skilled to be painting layers directly on an outline and not fucking up the integrity of the shape. Like I'm the kind of artist who want to keep a certain part of the artwork a certain way. So like if I drew the outlines like this, I want the final artwork to have the code to still look like this. If I were to paint the colors directly on the outlines, no doubt the lines would be skewed and the shape would be different from what I wanted. So I prefer keeping them separate. It is the thing with traditional art, at least with watercolor, is that the colors cannot completely override the very thin outline that that works as guides. The guidelines, I would say. That even when you only use pencils, the watercolors would not completely erase or take over the guidelines, and that's what I like. I suppose now I can also do his arm. This is supposed to be his scar, by the way. Right below that sketch layer, and probably have painted the inner shirt first. I think if by the end of this, if it still doesn't look close to the reference, I think I'll just move on. There's a lot of the artwork, the fan art that I've done for different characters. A lot of them just don't look exactly like the real character, and I think I'll just live with that. I think I can live with that because that's just how my art style works, because I will always prioritize anatomy over aesthetic. this the first round of base rendering complete, and at least as base as this it could be, you know. I think if I could get this done in a few more hours, I could post this on Wednesday instead of waiting until Saturday, because I don't want to, you know, put in more delay with my commissions. And this is less of a problem with rushing or not putting full effort, but more so a problem of constantly second guessing and constantly fixing what doesn't need to be fixed, to be frank. Maybe refining is one thing, but like complete restart over and over again is not going to get people to believe you are able to make great decisions with your art. Wrong brush. extra effort later on, near the end, I would say, because I'm not doing this in the middle of the stream. But there's gonna be a lot of erasing, a precise erasing for the hair, because of the fact that the hair layer is probably one of the highest. Yeah, other than the accessories. Oops, I keep picking the wrong thing. I'm trying to use the scroll bar, but I keep selecting the layers. I think I should avoid overdoing the face, just because there shouldn't be too much shading details. If it's shines from like above, I mean by shine from above, I mean with very strong light, or at least with chandelier. Sorry, this is like it's 11:29. It's pretty late here, so combined with a headache, it's difficult for me to speak than usual. Should probably pick from here and lighten the colors a little, and then overwrite the colors here, because there is honestly no need to make every shading color brown, you know, because it would make the face look very muddy. Even now it still looks a bit muddy, but that could just be my eyes. Gonna have to be careful with this kind of like shadows, so it doesn't look like there's a part of his hair that's basically floating. Again, the eyebrow, the lack of eyebrow has to be compensated. Sorry, I'm saying it as if he only has one eyebrow. He's missing both, so I have to compensate it by doing some heavy shading below the eyebrows, the brow bones basically, or the brow ridges. And I guess should probably also avoid making too dark of a color here. The chin is also pretty tricky for me at least. Are next. I have to add another layer of rendering, and also I cannot zoom in too close. It's a bad habit of mine, and I'm trying to avoid doing that. The very reason I'm restarting for like the 5th time is exactly because of that. I mean, one of them, when it comes to me, I guess I could say that one of the many reasons and overdoing the zooms are just, it's just one of them basically. I have to make him look a bit more dangerous looking, like less of a no life behind the eyes, but more of a I will turn you into a undead ghoul, because I'm pretty sure that's what he did at some point in the manga. I mean, I might as well just spoil it, right? It's the issue, or like the volume chapters that this exact frame is taken from. Oops. Like they weren't just revealing his face, but they were also revealing what he has been doing behind the scenes, because he's supposed to be very mysterious. So, oh, wrong layer. So I have to be able to capture that goddamn creepy feeling that he gave. Should probably change the brush. Right, the problem is the color being a bit too dark. I believe the oil paint and the gouache are default CSP brushes. I downloaded quite a lot of custom brushes, but I barely use any of them. I legit have only been using that one custom brush. It's usually because of the fact that the custom brushes, when you see the preview of it, like the usage by the brush creator, it's quite different from when you actually get a hold of the brushes. And when you use it, the brush by default looks nothing like the example, so you end up having to tweak the brush a lot. Sometimes a little, but other times a lot. Just because the brush creator is the one that knows the exact setting to give the effect that they want. Oh, I guess I do have to say that the custom brushes, I usually differentiate it from custom pencils and pens. Oh, I might have colored on the wrong layer again. Yep, I colored straight on the outline layer. See? Very risky. Oh, I'm safe at least. The teeth are in different layers. paste and then cut the ones on the lips outline layer. Yep, I have to be careful. Or I guess I can delete it. Still have to be precise. Nah, I'm not gonna delete it, I'm too lazy. Plus, I tend to be frustrated with the fact that I cannot recreate an effect once I've deleted it. Like I've deleted it once and then try to recreate it. It'll be difficult for me. And the lips, the lip line. Yeah, I don't know why it's slanted, but I'm not gonna question it further. I thought I painted on the wrong layer again. Yeah, I realize it now that I've already painted with pretty light colors, so when I try to do highlights, that part of the lips are already too bright. I basically confuse myself and then wonder what is so confusing. Too glossy. Need to make it a bit duller. Do some color blocking to make sure that I don't overdo it with the what is it, the lighting again, the highlights. Then the darker color can be the inner part of the lips. So at least there's, you know, some variety with the colors instead of making every part of the lips very bright. A lot of the times when I'm like doing this kind of rendering and having this kind of struggles, I would usually think back to when I was younger and straight up wonder what the hell was I doing back then, because why the hell do I have this much difficulty on what should be the basics, at least for the amount of time that I claim I have spent on drawing, right? I've started since I was in elementary school. I was like, 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old, you would expect me to actually be good at even rendering lips. But no. Like, what the hell was my younger self doing? What kind of, portraits was I drawing even? To the point that I'm still struggling with like eye shapes, mouth shapes. I mean, the nose ones are obvious because I mostly did it similar to anime style, where it's just like kind of like half triangle shape, and then that's about it. Basic shading, then that's about it. But at the same time, I also do not want to learn those aesthetic lip shading, lip rendering. They love to call it like aesthetic. They like to label all those like pretty looking or cute looking to aesthetic. So I guess I like my art non-aesthetic, because I cannot stand that kind of art style. A bit too disconnected from realism. Almost midnight, and I think my headache is full on back. I need to eat my supper, and then my supper, quote unquote. I need to finish all the leftover food and then fuck off. And then hopefully I can stop, restart it and actually finish this for real. I did it the other way around. That's enough. Jesus, a headache. But I believe I should be able to finish it tomorrow. It still looks a bit weird, but it's mostly due to the dark outlines, I believe. It's usually like that anyway. If I am done with the rendering and I start changing the colors of the outlines, it will look a lot better. But for now, I have to stop. I believe I will do another either animating stream or just regular drawing stream. Depends on how quick I am with this. But I would yeah, I'll most likely just move on anyway. Like, I don't like to constantly repeat the same artwork on stream. So Wednesday I'm gonna come back with my animation. I'll probably continue that again, like as long as I'm not doing solo stream. Let's just say I'll probably lose my mind if I try to animate by myself without anybody to talk to, because animation is not my thing. I'm gonna be honest, animating is not my thing. But I am trying to learn and to practice. Sorry, I just keep feeling bothered by the nose here. But I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to just let it like this. I'm supposed to let it look like this. And then I can just use the gouache blender and kind of blend in circular. Is it good to blend it circular since it's at the nose? Wrong brush again. Stop for a bit. Yeah, I think I should stop here and seriously stop trying to pick up a pen and continue again. Alright. God, pitching headache. Alright, see you guys on Wednesday. I'll be accompanied by my friend again. That's all. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you stopping by. And goodbye.